Hi everyone, welcome to Tim's Vinyl Confessions. I'm Tim Derling and Sarah's joining me once again. We're going to be talking about probably one of the main groups that we have in common as far as...
Yeah, there aren't many.
Yeah, and actually, if it weren't for you, I probably never would have bothered.
That doesn't sound very nice, does it?
Fleetwood Mac just wouldn't have been on my radar. But before
It's kind of disparaging,
yeah,
guys.
it's things can change. I wasn't a dog person either, as we've discussed. So, but before that, I do want to talk about Unspooled. It's continuing to sell on Amazon, and Sarah is very supportive of me because she could care less about, like
8-tracks.
8-tracks or anything like that. But she will concede that this is a beautifully designed book.
It absolutely is, and I think I've said it before, but I will say it again. It's from an aesthetic perspective, it's absolutely gorgeous. The colors and everything are fabulous. And you said this is the Amazon copy?
This is the Amazon copy.
It's just as bright and glossy as the independently printed one. So I think Matt said the same, right? Like he was quite impressed with the quality.
He was impressed by how yeah, because it he was concerned that it wouldn't be quite the same level of just the same level of glossiness, because yeah, the original book was quite eye popping, but this one is too. So
it is. I mean, Matt, like just the way everything looks from a graphic perspective.
I just thought I'd find something apropos to our conversation. That is, of course, Tango in the Night from '87. But yeah, so yeah, Amazon is available through Amazon wherever your home Amazon is, wherever it is you live. Look, you'll see the cover of the book, and Amazon lets you flip through it. So it's more than an 8-track book. It's a music collecting book. It's a memorabilia book. It's a nostalgia thing. And I'm very happy with how it turned out, especially this second edition. So there you go.
So I haven't figured out how to click through it on Amazon. Maybe you can't on the app. Or maybe I can't on my phone.
No, maybe that's it too. Sometimes it's
just as a call out.
Yeah.
To anyone who's interested.
So.
Okay.
There you go. So yeah, we're here to talk about something that's been out for a little while now, not too long, although it's obviously older material. It's Fleetwood Mac, Rumours. You look in the middle there, live, and that's about what it is. It's a live recording of Fleetwood Mac from the Rumours tour. And song-wise, it's about what you'd expect, right? Like it's. I think we figured it's 9 out of the 10 songs from Rumours. One is a kind of a disappointment that it's not on there. One's a real surprise that it's not on here. I thought you said that there were 2. Yeah, there are 2. Yeah,
that are missing.
So one is like a disappointment. It's a song we like.
Oh, sorry.
And the other one is just a huge hit that is just not there.
Absent. Yeah. And the only reason that we're saying that we're disappointed that it's not on there, and that's Don't Stop that you're referring to.
Don't Stop is the big hit that's not on here, but I Don't Want to Know is the...
And I Don't Want to Know.
Yeah, that song just seems to get the short shrift, the short end of the stick.
It's unfortunate. It is a great little song.
Yeah.
I think Don't Stop is just due to the overplay, ultimately. It's one of these ones... I mean, I probably enjoyed it at one point in time, but isn't that the one that the Clintons had as their
it is
song?
But I mean, so they've got Oh Daddy on here, and they've, you know what I mean? Like, I just don't understand why. Anyway, we can talk about that in a bit. We're going to go over the song,
okay.
The song selection, but there's some notes by someone named Sam Graham, relative? No, I don't know who that is. It doesn't. There's no context.
No.
I don't know if it doesn't say whether it's a Rolling Stone writer or anything like that. 2-disc set, and the credits are pretty minimal. So it's got most of the songs from Rumours. It's got a big chunk of the songs from the '75 self-titled, and only one other, which I'm really glad is on here. So they open with a couple of songs from the self-titled, Say You Love Me and Monday Morning. I like how they do Monday Morning on here, how they start it.
Me too.
Because Lindsay does a little like a little bit of an intro before it kicks in. And like a lot of bands at this time, songs are slightly faster.
Yeah, that was my first comment, actually, was that, but not in an unpleasant way. It's just very energized, and there's a lot of forward movement. Like, it's kind of exciting. It's live.
Yeah. It's a lot of cocaine.
Probably. I mean, I think we all have seen the
Yeah. So yeah, there's the
background documentaries.
the photos there. Look at John McVie there standing. Like, I mean, come on. Anyway, that's great.
Don't be judgy.
Oh no. And then they do Dreams, which is the number one song. Like that was their only number one song, which is kind of surprising when you think about it. But it was their only song
the
that
only
Stacey
one.
that went all the way to the top.
I like the live version of that though. I think that's the one I commented.
It's
to
a little
was
different, isn't it? Does Stevie sing it a little bit differently?
I feel like it's in a lower register,
Yeah.
so it's kind of. I don't know that smoother's the right word necessarily, but it's got a different touch to it.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that one.
And then, like, I was really glad they put "Oh Well" on here from the earliest stage. Not the very earliest, but from the Peter Green era, Fleetwood Mac. And Lindsay sings it, and it sounds great.
Oh, it's awesome.
Yeah, it's, you just
I
can't,
enjoyed that one a lot.
can't go wrong with
too.
that one. Rhiannon's different on here.
I liked it. It's almost like she's feeling it. It's live.
Yeah.
And perhaps there's drugs and whatnot involved. I don't know, but it's kind of an impassioned. It doesn't it have a really long.
It's got a long coda, like Love's a State of Mind. Like she goes into that whole.
Yes, so it's
thing.
almost. I think that it's Rhiannon that I had read commentary about live performances where it was almost like not speaking in tongues, but it's like she's
Overtaken by
yes,
taken by the wind.
taken by the wind, taken by Rhiannon, like the
Yeah.
spirit, and so she's
Yeah.
very.
What I'm noticing on here is
Into
the way they sing it. It's not Rhiannon, it's Rhiannon. Like it sounds. There's a little phrasing Rhiannon. There's a different emphasis or a
I
different.
didn't notice that.
Yeah. Next is "Oh Daddy," which I would have put "Don't Stop" instead of this song.
Me too, but maybe they
But,
wanted to
Well, I got thinking about this.
more mellow.
This Rumours, the album, I think came out in February of 77. This was recorded at the Forum in Inglewood, California, August 29th, 77. So I'm not sure the order that the singles were released. I could look that up. But maybe Don't Stop hadn't come out as a single and they didn't know it was going to be a hit yet, but it just kind of strains that it's not on here. Then, of course, Never Going Back Again, which is so good.
So
I mean,
good.
it's, the acoustic showpiece for Lindsay, and it's a fun song. And then another acoustic song, which is good. I wouldn't call it fun, with Landslide.
No, it's a lot of things. Fun isn't one of them.
Over My Head, which I don't recall hearing a live version of, which is good, from the self-titled album.
No, it's nice to have.
And speaking of versions that are different live, Gold Dust Woman is the last song on disc 1, and you really liked. You had a comment about this version.
I did. After I heard it, I commented to Tim that I felt strongly that perhaps that Courtney Love must have been inspired by a live version of the song
For the
whole
cover,
version,
yeah.
the cover of Gold Dust Woman, because more than anything, it kind of harkens to that kind of sound. I think it's raw
Yeah.
and
I mean,
more rock, and I think that that's something else I said to you actually about this live album.
Yeah.
Was it's a nice reminder that this is a rock band,
Yeah.
in spite of
they're so
all of the pop, the
finish,
slick.
the finish, the smoothness, the edges all worn off, sanded, and everything is just perfect. But
It's not that the performances aren't great; they
yeah,
are.
but it's just when you hear it live, there is a certain amount of, like especially with this like Gold Dust Woman or Rhiannon, there's a certain amount of abandon that goes into it. You hear a
Yes.
little more Lindsay's guitar, which is always welcome.
I like
Always a
that
welcome
too.
thing.
And I noticed that. I think I said as much. Maybe that's what started it for
Yeah.
me. Was there's so much more guitar.
Yeah, because
in
it's
these
not
live
just
versions?
blended in with the keyboards and the background vocals
So
and all of
like
that.
all the solos and
Yeah.
that kind of thing. I think it's a nice reminder of the musicianship behind it ultimately.
Yeah, you don't sell that many copies of an album if you're, well,
Sometimes.
that's, yeah.
Don't go
So
there.
disc 2, You Make Loving Fun, which is, as it says,
It's fun.
And then next song's always an epic, I'm So Afraid, which you first came aware of it on the dance.
On the dance.
And it's from the self-titled. I didn't know it until I heard you play it, and it was the version from the dance, and it's great.
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
And it's equally great. I mean, obviously on the dance, probably it was intended to sound like the live performances from this era, I suppose, to harken back to that.
It's always reminded me at the end, the code at the end always reminded me of Kings and Queens by Aerosmith, which is an obscure song. But for those of you that know that song and didn't pay any attention to Fleetwood Mac, seriously, if you listen to I'm So Afraid by Fleetwood Mac, even if you hear a studio version, but if you hear a live version of it, you'll go, yeah, I think I hear what he means. And then Go Your Own Way, one of the 4 top 10 singles from Rumours, Always Welcome. It's one of the more rocky ones. Yeah, I would say of the 4 of them, it's the most rocky song. Next up is World Turning from the self-titled. This is one where it goes a little bit long with the keyboard solo, like the organ solo.
Jammy.
And a drum solo. And if you're not listening to it at high volume, it gets very quiet. I was working and I was listening to it, and I had to look to see, is this still playing? I thought maybe the CD was malfunctioning, but no, it just gets very, very quiet. But I mean, cynically you say, well, this is where 3 of them run backstage and,
Get changed, have a drink.
And get changed. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Powder their noses, so to speak.
Maybe they weren't doing the big costume changes the way that they do now.
But a break, and that's,
yes, sure.
Next is a song I really like, and it's a relatively new one for me hearing it, is Blue Letter from the self-titled. I really like this song.
I wasn't familiar with it either till we went to see one of the live, I don't remember if it was classic albums or the other
it
one.
was the Rumours one, which we're going to talk about here in a second. And of course the Chain, which is just
epic.
It's always epic. It's like a mini epic. It's like 4.5 minutes, and it's epic. And I never get tired of that song. And then they kind of wind it down. Secondhand News. I mean, Rumours at this point would have sold, well on its way of going on to be the multi-million seller it is. So most people would know the first song on the album, and it's great. And then they wind it down with, it's very poignant now, with Songbird. As a matter of fact, inside
That's nice.
there's a quote from the song's lyrics with their sort of mascot penguin taking a bow, of course, memory of Christine McVie. So, yeah, I mean, a good live set. I like the fact that it's one. I like the live album that they put it in 1980, and I especially like the expanded version of it. But I like the fact that this is one show. This is what they sounded like on that night, and they sounded pretty good. You start to wonder, it's too bad that it wasn't filmed. I mean, we've seen old footage of it, but it would be cool if it had been filmed.
I really hope that at some point in time that there will be something out of the vaults somewhere.
Yeah, all of those clips we see parts of, the whole show that came from.
Yes.
And sometimes that's just not possible, because you have to remember back in the 70s, it wasn't as easy as holding your phone up. You had to get the big cameras, the big film crew in, and it was a big deal if you were going to professionally film something. But sometimes you do have fan footage. I don't know how they were able to sneak things in and it surfaces, and they sync it up to the music really nice. So.
But what are the chances? I mean, if they've got audio from that night, what are the chances that there isn't?
Well, it'd be two different processes, right?
No, understood. But I'm just saying. I mean,
this is a pretty good sound. This is a pretty good recording, right? Like they did a good job cleaning up the sound. I don't know if this was a soundboard recording or if they had intended on recording this for maybe the follow-up to Rumours was going to be a live album. I don't know. As it turns out, they put one out after Tusk. But no, a really good snapshot, a real moment in time for an album that is every bit as popular now as it was in 1977. I mean, Rumours and the songs from it just continue to reach generations, and I don't think, don't stop, as they say. I don't think it will stop. But I did want to mention, Sarah and I have been, privileged enough now a couple of times to see Rumours. It's Fleetwood Mac tribute band, the ultimate Fleetwood Mac tribute, and they are coming back to our area. If you're in the Fredericton area, they're going to be at the Playhouse on October 20th.
Oh.
So I highly recommend, if you haven't seen them, it's really.
Or if you have and you want to go again.
Yeah, it's fun because for we've seen them twice now. They're kind of in character, as it were. They kind of act like they're in character. They kind of they're dressed to look like them in the first set. It's 70s. So, the Lindsey Buckingham has the big hair. the open shirt, but then in the 80s, it's the really short hair and the suit,
Yeah.
and everybody else follows suit.
The Stevie hair, I adore.
And she's really good.
Sure.
Like she's almost. We had this conversation about. I think we talked about this last time. It's almost like to really sing like Stevie Nicks, you have to be a better singer than Stevie was, to really get into that, the warble and the tremolo in the voice.
It was excellent, and I mean,
and they're all really.
They were
good.
all really
yeah,
great.
the Christine
actually.
was really
Christine
good.
Was really good.
It was a slightly different set. I remember because there were a few songs. They didn't do Holiday Road last time. That was.
I know, but we thoroughly enjoyed it.
Should always do Holiday Road. No, it's good. Yeah, if it's it's I don't want to say it's the next best thing, but it's a really good.
But we're never going to see them.
Yeah, it's a really good mirror or facsimile of seeing them. It's really, really well done. It sounds great. They all sound like they're supposed to sound. The guitar sounds the way it's supposed to sound. It's not overdriven. It's just everything is just kind of right in its place. You know, the Mick Fleetwood character is really funny, but he's also a really good drummer.
He is, and the same actually for all of them.
Yeah, they're all
really great.
So there you go. That's kind of our thoughts on the recently released Fleetwood Mac Rumours live. I will say this: I'm still calling it Warner Brothers. I cannot get my head around calling it Warner Records. That is just not. That's just not right. It should be Warner Brothers Records. Anyway,
okay.
She indulges me when I get on about like the old man type things like this.
Well, we're old, but you have to kind of go with things as they change.
But it only just changed. Why did they think that needed changing?
You're right.
Okay. All right. Thanks everyone for watching. Link to Order Unspooled is in the description as well if you're looking for some merchandise and
or a great Christmas gift.
Yes.
Early.
I'm glad you said that because it makes a great stocking stuffer, but yeah.
Well, it's a little large for stocking. Although I
yeah, but some of the TVC merch is like for example, ding.
It doesn't stop me. I just wrap things and put it beside.
Yeah.
The stocking.
But
anyway.
That's another story for another time. All right.
Sure thing.
Thanks everybody for watching Tim's Vinyl Confessions. We'll see you later.